Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
I would like to request our visionary of this World Parliament of Spirituality, Dr. Yugandhar sir, to lead the panel discussion. If learning from everybody is widely accepted on the path of spiritual mastery, how far? Confining oneself to one guru or one school of thought, is it justified? Dear sir, Dr. Yugandhar, I request you to lead the panel discussion from here on.
Good morning, all of you. Good morning, all the viewers across the world. And very good morning to all our three angels, Grandmother, Valerie Judith Barrow, and Serenity Raven Wolf. Thank you very much. We have got a very beautiful discussion because in these days, when learning is only confined to only one school of thought, learning is only confined to one ideology, learning is only confined to only one type of faith. In the world of spirituality, learning from everyone, learning from everything is most important. For the person who has ears, everyone is a teacher. Everything is a teaching. So today's discussion will be on if learning from everybody is widely accepted on the path of spiritual mastery, how far confining oneself to one guru or one school of thought is justified. We have got here Grandmother Parisha, a wonderful lady, a magnificent lady. We got Valerie Judith Barrow, a star channeler, in fact, a star, and Serenity Raven Wolf. I've got the question for you, Grandmother. Now, in this present stage, even in this session, in this panel discussion, you three are from different schools of thought. You from the elders, Valerie from the star family, Serenity from Altogether Healing community. And how do you see these different spiritual schools of thought merge and become a collective entity of embodiment of teaching to one and all? How a seeker on the path of spirituality, a seeker on the path of self-mastery can actually understand different schools of thought, how he should actually choose his own school of thought.
It's a
Yes,
fact.
over to Grandmother.
It's a fact. It's definitely a fact, and we all know that. Okay, everyone who's been on this path for any time, I mean, we've been awakened in different ways. Sometimes it starts in our childhood. Sometimes there's a crisis in our life that opens our eyes. But then we begin to explore and want more of information. I have traveled all over this world a dozen times or more. I've touched every soil, and I have family in every location. I just simply melt into the environment and with the people and observe and study. And I've always found common ground. We are interconnected, no matter how much we try to, say that's not so or walk away from that. We are interconnected and we need each other. And at this point in everything that I've done in the many, many years of walking this path, it is so wonderful that at this point with quantum physics and what I call the spiritual sciences, we are liberated from the particular religious and cultural rules and regulations that says that we're going to hell or we're in the evil ground if we seek and know to understand others. I have found beauty and truth in every people's worship, to where I can say sincerely, I can sit down with them and worship in their custom, in their culture, and feel the genuine power in that. And the land reeks of it. I mean, you sit there with Ilaru's picture behind you and everything that Valerie has shared. It's just powerful because Ilaru in itself is a messenger. And if anybody's ever gone there on vacation or otherwise, it is there and it communicates. And there are some that immediately who have never had any spiritual experiences. When we were there were people who were so overtaken by the impact that they actually fell to their knees. And when various people went to care for them, and when we went to offer them water, I said, "Are you all right? And what has happened?" And they said, "There was actually something that moved me." And these were people who probably are just a 7-day-a-week person, what we would call straight, that don't do any meditation or anything. These were just vacation people. So there is a change and a shift. If we look into the tablets, the sacred tablets that are buried in the mother in all these countries, your country especially, the Vedic tablets and teachings, this is our time. This is the perfect timing for us to actually reach out to humanity. We do not need the governing of governments. We do not need governments to tell us how to worship. We do not need a government to tell us what the rule of our spirit is. And so now we're living these tablets. What's wonderful about it, Yugandhar, is that we are living, you and I and all of our people who are joining us, we are living this. You know, it used to be let's look like 10, 15 years ago. People were prejudiced about the particular worship, that you're worshiping gurus and you're this and that. And then there were others, if you were a psychic, you were a weirdo or a flake or something. I mean, we had all kinds of taboos, right? Not today. Science has proven that everything we were talking about, our connection to the stars, and as Valerie said, the understanding of how even the Pleiades, my people actually say that we're from the Pleiades. I mean, I was raised by my grandmother understanding that the Pleiades are my origins. You know what I mean? And so, of course, when I would talk about that or go to some of the universities where I'd teach and talk about that, I got all kinds of weird looks, right? And when I would teach them a meditation, it was, "Oh, that's the Eastern people. We don't do that." And it's like, no, you do. You don't even know that you're meditating. But when you contemplate in yourself at any given point, you are entering meditation. And so just continuing to talk to people about what's happening and where we're going. We're living the ancient tablets. The reason I said this is ancient futures, we're cyclic. We're cyclic and the spiral keeps going bigger. And we're going to arrive at the point of that to where we are no longer just a body. Okay, right now we focus on what our body's telling us, all its demands and its needs. But then there are many of us who've meditated strong enough and deep enough that we've been able to step out of that. And that keys into everything Valerie has shared with us. I totally appreciate that. That was very, very beautiful what you shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, grandmother. Thanks a lot. So here with Valerie, I have a question for you. Even on the planet Earth, we have so many different schools of thought, spiritual schools of thought, since a long time, since many, many thousands of years.
Yeah.
People who are on the eastern side of the world, we have so many types of guru type of systems here. In eastern side of India and the countries nearby, we have got different types of schools of thought in the form of ancient wisdom keepers, the Andean wisdom keepers, the Inca wisdom keepers, the Toltecs, the Aztecs, and so many shamans with their great spirit guides, the totems and all. And now we are hearing a lot from the past few decades about this star wisdom. The Syrians, the Andromedians, the Pleiadians, so many types of star beings are also coming us to help, assist, and evolve. So, what's your take on a question for you? Is there anything like intergalactic federation? Some people are saying intergalactic federation. Like we are trying to form unity consciousness on the planet Earth, which that is the reason why we are here with each other on the platform of the World Parliament on Spirituality. Is there anything like a similar World Parliament in the form of intergalactic federation? Is this intergalactic federation is equivalent to the World Parliament on Spirituality? How do you correct this?
Are you asking me again, John?
Yeah, for you. Yeah, Valerie.
Thank you. From my understanding, because there are so many, what can I say, stark races out there in the world, there's thousands and thousands, probably millions. But the ones that are focusing and working with us in a good way, in helping us and wanting to help us, is they have different ways of explaining from different points, from different races, like we have different races even on Earth. And so we say one thing and the word could mean something different to another race. So people have actually started to argue and disagree. But actually, if they really reframe their words and you find that really they're talking about the same thing and there's no need to disagree at all. So important thing is finding understanding with each other. Everyone needs to understand each other and respect one another. This is the message, I think, that we are given before we agree to come, because we all have permission to be here. Some forget why they've come, and some behave in a different way that they were supposed to, but that's all part of living here and dealing with it. There's layers of consciousness, they tell me. Some people call it dimensions. And I don't like to say, oh, one's higher or lower or anything like that. It's just different. And some people have, they just don't, as I said before, didn't understand about cold blood and warm blood and the influence that we have for all these energies that influence the way we feel and know things. It all comes from within, in our hearts. Everybody has the answer to everything within. But as you say, we share. So we need to share as well, because we are all the same race. We are all humans. Whether our color skin is different doesn't matter. We all come with warmth. We get upset. We have the same emotions. We love our children. We want to protect. We want peace. And that's the thing we're moving to. When people are coming from a certain layer of consciousness, it would not ever even enter their mind to raise a weapon, and that includes a hand. Never raise a weapon to sort out a problem. So we can always come to agreement or, find ways to interact and live with one another peacefully without raising weapons, always. But we haven't got quite there yet. But this is what we're all working to help each other to do. And I think, does that answer what you asked? The answers are within us all. We know what feels right. We know when somebody says something, yes, that's right. There's a saying about the windows of our soul. When we look in somebody's eyes, we can see, we know whether they're really coming from the truth within them, or whether there's something taking change between the voice box and the eye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Valerie.
Can I expand upon what both beautiful ladies have
please.
said? Because it really joins the lot together, is that
Sure.
As I've said on a talk before, there is no second coming of a Messiah that we're waiting for. We are all, each and every one of us, the second coming of the Messiah. We are the one we have been waiting for. Therefore, what the heck do you need a guru outside of you for, regardless of who that is? Because the best guru that you ever have access to is you and the greater part of you that can't fit in your tiny little human suit body. And we have this, what I call inner Google search engine. And I use this as a metaphor because we understand what a search engine does. You put in a keyword, it brings you back everything in alignment with the keyword. So are we looking for the differences among others and ourselves and the different schools of thought and each other and the colors of our skin? Or are we looking with our inner Google search engine keywords, are we looking for the similarities? Because when I look at everyone, all I ever see is what is in me that is also in you. It's kind of like I'm a living, breathing namaste. That's all I ever see. The seed in me that is also in you. That essence of the divine that is in all of us. Are we looking for that? And therefore, we don't need anything outside of ourselves. And we are then just looking at what's similar, and therefore we get along. It doesn't matter if you have a different belief or say it a different way. I am the divine, and I lovingly respect your choice and decision to see it that way or to practice it that way. And I honor and respect that. In fact, I like to give that a go too. Please teach me something about that. That's how it kind of joins it all together, and it's just my take on what the other ladies have said, and it's very similar.
Yes, Serenity. Thank you very much. So I have a question for you as well. Now, I asked Valerie about whether the Intergalactic Federation is equivalent to the World Parliament that we are doing. Like there is a lot of collective consciousness building up, like there is collective wisdom that is building up, keeping away all the diversities, keeping away all the differences, keeping away all the dissimilarities, and we are trying to connect with what is common. We are trying to connect with what is same.
Yeah.
We are connecting with what is one within us, each one of us. So similarly, if you have so many types of wisdom, the ancient type of wisdom, as grandmother told, the new age sciences, the quantum physics, all the spiritual sciences are also coming up to teach the importance of spiritual awakening. With this in mind, whether there is a knowledge that is very important coming through different sources, or is it, or a seeker truly need a teacher type of personality who need to inspire, who need to motivate, who make the seeker more rooted. What is your take on it?
I
The
actually
teaching of
think
the
that
teacher.
there are times we are both teacher and student at any given time of the day, and we slip really easily in and out of both. We're a teacher to our children. Sometimes our children are teachers to us, for us. I'm of the belief that we're all what I call psychic satellite dishes. Therefore, we're all kind of channeling from whatever the greater 24/7. And most people just don't know it. Sometimes it's when you just know something and you don't know why you know it. You're doing that anyway. And I do also believe that there is such a thing, whatever you want to call it, Galactic Federation. We'll call it the Galactic Federation of World Parliament and Spirituality. And we're kind of like their garden, and there are ET brothers and sisters. Many of us here have come from Atlantis and the Pleiades and Sirius, and they're literally our brothers and sisters. They're our family, watching over us like you do kin and family, guiding us along the way. And I do believe the choice of being able to access this information is not necessarily someone is wired in a particular different way. It starts with the desire within to wake up from what I call sleepwalking in the dream of the 3D matrix, to one, believe there actually may be more than that, and then start seeking what that may be. And I enjoy both roles. I enjoy being both teacher and student. Does that answer your question?
Yes. No, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
He's on.
I have a question. I have a question for you, grandmother. With you as spiritual tablet keeper, an elder, and a wisdom keeper, in fact, what is your message from the knowledge base that you have? It's a very ancient knowledge, very old knowledge, and which is very much essential for the new age man, which is most essential for the present human being. How this ancient wisdom, the spiritual wisdom, is going to be really connected in the present scenario, in the present human psyche. How does this interconnection of the ancient wisdom and the present human psyche, which is much more involved in technologies, much more involved in external sciences, how this bridging phenomena you think can happen?
What I know and what I've worked with all my life is even like the Aboriginal family that I have there in Australia. I have watched amongst the ancient people. They're very remote people. They're very secretive, or you might even say private. Okay. And those that have tablets, like my first involvement with that started about 9 years old. I've always had otherworld experiences. I feel like I've almost lived my whole life out of body, in body, back and forth. And I spend a lot of time in meditation. This year I'll be 80 years old. In fact, this month I turned 80 years old. And I would have to say that I still feel 30. I still go out there and hold a very live agenda on everything, because it gives me strength to go meet people. The differences aren't really different. It's like Serenity said, we have so much in common, but it's taught to us to not like each other. It's taught to us to be prejudiced. It's taught to us to not really have compassion and love for everybody. So the tablets say that over and over again. I've actually went to science once I come out from underneath my grandmother's wing. She passed when I was about 19, okay? And once I come out from under her wing, I felt like a dinosaur in a world that I couldn't fit in. And I couldn't explain what I knew and what I'd experienced and all the different things I'd done. So I started studying science. I actually went and got into a university and started studying science. Felt it was premature, actually felt it was less than I already knew. Okay, so then I was told, go into research. You're not going to find what you want here. Go into research. And that's what I did. The research led me to beautiful relationships with very, very high-level scientists working in the frontier at that point of sciences. And then we began to just explore what the tablets are saying. I always knew that we were engineered by a high intelligence. This body is not us. This body is an engineered perfection. And then we began to study what that was all about. And then I realized what the common ground was in my ancient teachings of my culture and the modern day sciences. And I've pursued that. We are not different. And each and every culture that has a different way of looking at it and talking to it, it's all needed. It's not something that's different in a bad way. It's needed. The variety of that is all the many billions of aspects of the one that we have not explored yet. In our limited body functions, only through meditation and through practice can we move past the body's demand on us. We actually have 14 senses. New science is coming out with what's called string theory, and it's going to show us that what we have in our bodies, 14 sensors, and we only use what we have, 6 senses. They tell us we only have 6 senses. So we're actually coming to what everything the tablets have ever said. How I go to the scientists and actually challenge them sometimes is I bring a tablet, a recent tablet that has been discovered, and we've had, 5, 6 people interpret it, even the emerald tablets. And I tell them, then show me how this can be possible. We see in the Christian Bible all kinds of fantastic, what we would call otherworld things. Okay, when I look into the Hindu teachings and I see how the masters mastered life and breathing and everything, how can we minimize ourselves? Like Serenity said, there's so much more of us. How can we minimize ourselves? We're doing that to ourselves. Nobody else is doing that. Okay, and with the tablets, like I told you before, the tablets, I'm so excited because I'd already started planning on having a unity situation of what you go. So when you come to me, you came to me 3 days later when I made the decision that I'm going to start this year and take the whole year to plan it. So you were so much on time, as you always are, beloved. And I feel, okay, then Yugandhar and I have to take this out and start moving with it. But look who you've attracted. Look who's come to the call of unity and spirituality. Beautiful mastery people. I sat here and went into several different places as Serenity did her meditation or visualization. We are doing that naturally now. We're no longer told we're weird. We're no longer told we're a fake. Where we can study the teachings of Babaji and actually understand how someone can live in a state of nothingness and then move to the glory of life. So for me, I have found in the tablets everything that I've discovered in the cultures and the love of people in this world. And I love every people I've met. I've identified with them, not just trying to imitate them. I have become part of them. They've become a part of me. And that oneness is how that's happening. If we just take time to share, like the sharing that's going on, and we listen from our heart, we're open in mind. What Valerie has shared definitely could be a little far out for someone else, but not for us. How we all relate to it. I related to so much you shared, Valerie. And it's like, so we can talk our talk now and be in a huge audience, and we have the likeness of each other. We are interconnected. We are one. We're just discovering how to wear it, how to live it, and how to actually celebrate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful, grandmother. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. So connecting from where you stopped, we'll start with Valerie, where you stopped. So Valerie was talking about United Planetary Nations. You know, when the First World War was there, so many countries joined to form unity consciousness because war has to be stopped. That was the main stimulus. That was the main aim those days. In 1920s, the League of Nations formed in the world. And with this World War II, again, even more unity consciousness started seeping into this planet in the form of conversion of this League of Nations into United Nations organization by the end of Second World War. That is to reduce the hostility among nations, to reduce belligerency among the nations. The United Nations organization started, but with more than 60 years after the formation of United Nations, I think unity consciousness has to take over this United Nations. Unity consciousness should rule the world. Like you are talking about United Planetary Nations, I think we should have something which is to be formed from the point of unity, from the point of awakening, from the point of evolution of consciousness. And how do you talk? What is your message? What is your take in terms of the word you used, United Planetary Nations, and we should have a spiritual UNO rather. Maybe the World Parliament on Spirituality is a type of spiritual UNO for me. Can we relate this World Parliament as a spiritual UNO, and we should form a spiritual UNO type of thing, which is online with what you are speaking, United Planetary Nations, Valerie? Am I clear?
Yes. Upstairs, actually, as you've just said, actually refers to the United Planetary Nations, which is similar, they said, to the United Nations here on Earth. And that hasn't been a coincidence. The stuff people are giving us ideas and thoughts and motivating us to move in different ways. And that's separate from what the brain does. The brain just records everything. Although there's a combination between the brain and the soul consciousness that I've come to understand. It's very simple, actually. When I say that, needs to be a preparation. Can I talk like this? Is it okay? The preparation for when people meditate, or I would like to say even prayer, because prayer is related to thought. My feeling is it's thought. And every thought that people makes has more power behind it than anything we just say or do immediately around us. So we really need to be very, very careful about our thoughts, because they go out, they stay there, they're in little clouds above us if they're negative, and they need to be cleared and lightened so that we are free of negative thoughts, and then positive thoughts can actually procreate and actually be part of everybody's thoughts, because those do influence us, whether we really recognize them that or not. What I would say is, it's a very simple thing. Can I just share that? In meditation, the first thing is that we need to clear our energy field so that there's no attachments at all. Everything is, it's to do with our intent and then focus, right? I believe actually the scientist Einstein, when he talks about relativity, that's what he's talking about. It's relative, what we have intent and what we focus upon. So if we focus on clearing our energy field, it's very easy to do that. If we see the world of light, just fill us with light in every cell, of our earth body and every atom of our light body. Clear that. And then roll our eyes up just a little bit. That connects to our brain and our consciousness with the soul consciousness. It actually connects, and it lifts us so that we can actually start using conversation between our soul self, which opens the door to our oversoul, which is coming from our God self, if that makes it. I'm trying to symbolize it a bit, but it does work. The more you do it, the more easier it becomes. That's actually how I started as well. So I'm drawing from experience, really. So when you roll your eyes up, that's the same as scientists have observed when people are asleep, that before they go into the deepest part of their sleep, their eyes start to rapid eye movement, and that's flutter. And if you see some of the, I remember Uncle Jerry actually, when he ever started to connect to upstairs, I forgot what he called the mob upstairs, that's what he called them, the mob upstairs, his eyes would start to flutter, the same as what happens when you go through theta consciousness, just when that's dreaming, when you're asleep. But you can do it consciously as well. So it's daydreaming, actually. And it's easy to be here in a room and then let the mind float to something else, and you're there, you're somewhere else. That's all part of consciousness. So I just wanted to put that in. It's an important part, actually, to understand that connection we have, just rolling our eyes back and as if we're looking out past the atmosphere of our planet Earth to the world of light. It's everywhere, but this is just a discipline. So the world of light, see that coming down through us and feeding every atom and every cell of the soul of the body. And you can do it quite quickly if you feel a bit low or you feel that heavy. You don't feel quite aware that, you picked up something. You could clear the energy very, very quickly. And so that's just a thought that might help people if they think about it. But you don't put your eyes back too far. Your eyes are closed, your eyes are rolled up, you're looking out past the atmosphere, and you don't want to let them go back too far that it hurts. You don't want to hurt yourself. So you're just looking back that way. And your eyes might start to flutter. Then when you've asked a question, one question at a time, and then them roll back and just sit quietly without any other influence of any other thought. And something will come, like an image or a thought or a word even, or a knowing. More than anything else, it is a knowing. And it's in your heart. You feel it there. So I hope, and that's the way actually we all can relate and connect to United Planetary Nation, because they're all out there from whatever interest we have, from where we've come from. We all come from different places. Everybody on Earth has a soul, and everybody on Earth is different. Some are very similar, but we're all different. So we need to communicate with each other and respect each other. That's the big point. Is that okay?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Valerie. Beautiful, beautiful. Very interesting. So whether you are from stars of different galaxy, whether you are from ancient school of thought, either you are from the New Age spiritual sciences, either you are from no school of thought but yet evolved. There are different types, different flavors, different sizes, different shapes of wisdom, encapsulated in different formats and forms. So now, how, if you observe the world, serenity, question for you, if you observe the evolution of the consciousness of the mankind, during the time of kings, with the help of wars, they all tried to bring everyone into one umbrella. Uniformity was ruling the world. Everybody should be on the same page. By way of law and order, by way of rules and regulations, by way of enforcements. When it comes to unity, it cannot be enforced. It cannot be brought by any rules and regulations. Only awakened souls can understand the meaning of unity consciousness. Less awakened souls always think about how different I am from you, how different you are from me. So, how to actually bring this unity consciousness by way of inculcating the habit of learning from everyone, tolerating everyone, respecting everyone, as Valerie told, honoring all types of truth in different types of wrappings around it, catch hold of the essence of it instead of its wrappers, instead of its superficial covers. How this unity consciousness, without any element of enforcement, without any type of rules and regulations, as you know, can be brought about from the concept of, from the today's panel discussion of learning from everyone and be oneself. How can we actually bring this on a mass scale?
And for
Thank
me,
you.
I don't see we're different. To me, we are uniquely similar. And building out of the word unique, it's our individual, because we are individual aspects of the one divine. Therefore, embracing our individual uniqueness is the gift that each of us have to offer the world. It is that individual uniqueness that offers the different flavors and makes this human suit experience interesting. You know, if we were all beige or we were all vanilla ice cream, this experience would be rather boring. We might not want to come down again, you know? So it's this that keeps us, this is embracing each other's unique and honoring and respecting that we're unique. Do you know what I mean? And even though it's different, that's okay. And even in those, to further answer your question, and for me, the core of absolutely everything is love. It is the only answer. It is the only solution. And I'm even starting to believe maybe it's actually even the question. Therefore, when we do everything from love, and I don't even know where I was going with that. I've learned to giggle at myself. I channel, and sometimes the channel gets broken, and I don't even know what my next word is. That's one of those moments. Yeah, but this love, and oh, that's right. Yes, thank you. The connection just came out of the black spot. This love is what connects us all, and with love being the only answer and the only solution. If someone is presented before me and in my presence, and they're spewing venom all over me, and they're being horrible and nasty and angry, in those moments, with me understanding that everything that shows up in my life is purely the divine giving me the opportunity to be love. So when they're being like that, coming from some form of pain that they have experienced in life within their being, that's an opportunity for me to be love for them. And in those moments, they deserve more love, never less. If I have any issue whatsoever or feel uncomfortable with how they're presenting themselves before me, in those moments, I deserve more love, never less. So therefore, I return to loving my own heart. Therefore, I can be more present and loving and compassionate and expansive for them. And to me, this is the unity consciousness. That might actually be the catalyst of this person, the most loving that they've ever experienced anybody when they show up like that, especially. Therefore, the ripples of that are exponentially huge when we all choose to be the one and show up like that. Does that make sense? And did I answer your question? I got lost when the channel got broken for a moment. Sorry.
Wonderful serenity. And as you told in the previous answer to my question, the second coming, our Messiah, we are the saviors of the world. If not us, who is going to be the savior?
We just
if
have
not
to choose.
you, who is going to be the savior?
Each of us just
And
have
if
to
not
choose to
now,
be the one.
when it is going to happen?
Yep. Choose to be
So
the
love
one
corrects.
now.
Love corrects. So love is the Messiah.
Yeah.
Love is the
Well,
Messiah.
that was the message of Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Yeshua.
Yeah.
His message was just love. Forget everything
Yeah.
else that man changed his message to be.
Yes.
Yeshua's message was love.
Yeah.
My
So that's
hometown
what-
is the Pleiades
yeah.
as well. Jesus is my brother. Just
Yeah. In many schools of thought, second coming of Christ or second coming of Buddha in the form of Maitreya Buddha, even in India, second coming of Krishna in the form of Krishna consciousness. So it is not going to be a single embodiment, but in the form of the unity consciousness that is going to be the Messiah, that is going to be the Maitreya Buddha, that is going to be the Krishna consciousness. Whatever you call it in different parts of the world, we need to understand the very essence of everyone. We need to understand the core of everyone that is very much common. So inside us, we're all same. We are one.
it's each
And
of
that is
us
the only
waking
truth.
up out of the dream of the 3D matrix, knowing there's more, and then realizing we are God. And the word God to me is purely an acronym. It just means
Yeah.
great overall designer.
Yeah. So we are gods. Yeah, that's a beautiful statement. We're all gods.
We
So
are
there
made in
only-
the image of God, great overall designer. Therefore, I am God. If God, the creator, macrocosm,
Yeah.
and we are a part of God's universe, therefore my universe as the God is my reality, and I am the creator of that. And that's powerful to know.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Grandmother Valerie Barrow Judith and Serenity Variable for participating in this wonderful, magnificent panel discussion. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you all the viewers. And